Now, in my previous video, we have worked with React and Firebase. We have created a new React application, and we have initialized the Firebase application. So we have here everything set up for the next step, which will be user authentication. Now we will be creating authentication so that the user can sign in case he already have an account, or sign up for a new account in case he's a new visitor. The authentication will include email verification and, of course, resetting the password. The process will take us a couple of minutes because we'll be using Firebase UI, which will come with the interface already built. So let's get started. First, we need to install Firebase UI. Since we're using React, there's a version special for React, which is React Firebase UI. Yarn add react-firebase UI. Now I will create a component that will be responsible for initializing the Firebase UI, more correctly, starting the Firebase UI. I will name the component signup.js. First, I will import React from React. Of course, here React is capital R. And I will create a function component, constant sign up. It will return for now. It will return welcome, just welcome. And I will include this component inside the main component, the app component. Import sign up from I will remove all this information here, and I will add here my React Firebase project and the sign up component. So let's remove the logo since we are not using it anymore. So if I run my application just to see that if all is okay, yarn start. We forget to export default sign up. All right, here it is, my React Firebase project. Welcome. All right. Let me change this to h2. Jesus. All right. So now let's initialize and start the Firebase UI. First, I will import styled Firebase UI from React Firebase UI slash style Firebase UI. All right, and now I will create the configuration file by config UI equal sign in flow will be pop up. This option is not mandatory. This is not required. Sign in option is required, and it's an array of options. Here you can include as many providers as you need. We will include two providers. The first one is the username password sign in. The second one is sign in with Google. Now, to be able to include any provider, we need to activate it in our Firebase console. So let's go now to Firebase console and activate the needed provider. So if I go to authenticate, there is this tab sign in method. Here I can enable any method I need. First, I need email password. I will enable it. Another option is to make the process passwordless by providing the password each time the user sign in, he will receive an email with the password. I will not activate it for this tutorial. Then I will activate the Google. Here I have default setup. Please select an email address. I will select my personal email address here. And anything else? Web client ID. All right. I will not be using this information since I'm hosting this project with Firebase hosting, so it will automatically retrieve this information for me. I will just save. And here we need to add the providers, which are constant. I will grab them from my previous project. They are Firebase Auth, email Auth provider ID, and the other one for Google. Here they are. Oh, one thing I forgot to import is Firebase. Import Firebase from Firebase. So here is this is our configuration. The only required option is sign in options which is available. So we can here, instead of saying welcome, we can say sign up or register. Not have done. And I will include the component that is provided. I'm sorry, this is here. I have a mistake. It's Auth. So I can use this component, which will set up the UI for me. I will give it the config file, which is required. Let me rename it here to UI config. And another required option is the Firebase Auth, which will be firebase.auth. Now we can run our application and have the two option available for user to be able to authenticate. Now I can sign in with my email address. Here I will enter my email next. Since this is a new account, I will be redirected to a registration page. I will enter my name and I will create a password. I will save. Here we are not redirecting to any place, so a notification, this notification tells us that we need to specify some additional option to do something after we have registered or after we have signed in. So let's do this. First, let's verify that we have a user created by going to users. And here is my user here. So what we will need to do now is add an option for successful sign up, which will be sign in success with Auth result. Sign in success with Auth result. I'm sorry, this will go inside the callback option. We'll take a function, and inside this function I can handle what is happening. For now, I will return false, so nothing will happen. What I will do, I will handle it with React. I will create a state for this function component. To create a state for a function component, I need to use a hook. So we'll import a hook, which is called setState, and inside the component, the function component, I will create a piece of state called user. It will be called user, and of course we'll have a setup user where we can change the state. Set state, the initial value will be null for this piece of state. So now we have a state. We need to set it. To be able to set the state, what I will do is wait for the component to be mounted. since we are not using a class, we cannot use the component cycle method. But fortunately, we also have a hook for this, which is use effect. This is use effect is similar to in a way it's similar to component lifecycle for the class component, but this one can only be used in function component. So I can use it like the follow. Use effect, which will take a function. Inside this function, I will create a constant. I will name it, let's say, Auth observer. This will use Firebase dot auth dot on auth state changed, which in its turn take a function. This function will be called with a parameter user. Here we will use this user to set our user state. Here, using the set user to user. So what will happen here? Each time you use the user logged in or logged out, this will be triggered, and the function will be called, and the user will be sent to us as a parameter. If the user is signing in or registered, the user will have all the information in it. If there's the user sign out, this user will be null. So based on this information, now we can check whether there is a user or not, which means whether the user is authenticated or not. Here inside our component return, we will, before returning, we will have a condition. If there's a user, mean that the current visitor is authenticated. What we will do is we will create a welcome message. Return. I will put here a welcome message. Welcome user. Let me grab the name from the user object, since user.display name, and I will put his email also. In a small typeface, user.email, and I will create a link so he can sign out. Let me do it as a button. It's more appropriate since it will not link to any place. I will create a button that will have on click, of course. For now, I'll leave it empty. I'll put an anonymous function, or it's shorter to log out or sign out. This is the if. Else, I will copy paste what we already have. Else, we will show them the sign up or sign up or sign in page. All right. Concerning here the app observer, why I have put it in a constant, so I can shut down this watcher here to be able to call to be able to disable this listener in a functional component. We don't have the on component dismount, I guess it was called, or on component destroy, I guess. Here, what we can do, we can return a function, and this function will be called once the component is destroyed. So we need to have a function, and Auth observer in itself actually is a function. So by just calling Auth observer, the listener will be disabled, will be deleted or destroyed. This is it. With this now, what we are doing is creating a listener once the component is mounted, and once the component before the component is destroyed, we are destroying the listener. So everything now should work as expected. If I try it, oopsie doopsie, object is not a function, or its return value is not iterable. Where is it? Here, user, set user. Okay, I made a mistake. Let me put this first at the beginning, since we're using it here in the effect. I'm sorry, I made a big mistake. It's use state. All hooks start with use, of course. My bad. And here we have it. Since I'm already logged in, I got here my information, my name. Let me see what's happening here. Oh, this my name and my user email. All right. Now, okay, let's activate the sign out. On click, we'll be using a function called sign out. Why sign out? And we'll create this function here. Constant sign out. We'll be using Firebase. .auth .sign out. This will return a promise, so I can use then. .log successfully signed out. .catch function .log error signing out. Just for our testing, nothing special here. Let's try the sign out button. It seems it's working fine. Let's sign in again. Password. It seems it's working fine. Later we will test sign in with Google, but before I need to enable email verification. So enable to send new user email verification. First, we must make sure that it is a new user. Second, we need to make sure that he is using username password method, not Google, or in case there is Facebook, for example, or in case passwordless sign in. So in order to do this, we need to rely on this callback, the sign in success with auth result. This function will be called with a parameter which we can retrieve it, auth results, which I'll name it auth result. This will be an object which contain the user object, which and the additional user information. So before returning false, first we need to now retrieve some information to make sure that the user is a new user and is using the username password method to sign in. I will create a new constant called user info, which will be auth result dot additional user info. I'm sorry. Now I will check if user info dot is new user and user info dot provider ID equal to password. Okay. If the user is using username password to sign in or register, the provider ID will be set to password. If it's Google, will be set to Google or something other than password. So after I verify that the user is new and is using the password method, now I can send an email verification to his account. Enable to be able to send the email verification, we need to use the user object, which is provided us by auth result. So auth result dot user dot send email verification. This return a promise. So so I will use now the async await just to show you how. Also here I will use a try catch to catch any error. I will use await in case everything went fine. I will console.log check your email, just a dummy message. This is just for testing. Console.log unable to send email. All right. So now we have everything set up for new user to receive a verification email and verify their account. What I will show you now, I will console.log the user object, console.log user, and I will show you now. I'm not signed in, and the user object will be null. Let me to be able to identify this console log. I will put something to recognize it. All right, user null. If I sign in, all right, now I have the user object here. And I will show you one thing. This is my display name, my email. Email verified is set to false. So you can check always for email verified. So now in order to be able to test if email is received, I will delete my user account by going back to my Firebase console and in the user tabs inside the authentication section, I will delete my account here. My account is gone. Now if I reload, I will be back to the sign in screen. I will use sign in with email. Let me open my Gmail account. All right. Next. If I save, now I expect to receive an email verification. Of course, you can improve this interface by informing the user that an email has been sent. Please verify your account. It seems like there's something wrong. Unable to send email. Where it is. Let's console log the error. Again, I will delete my user to test again and see what is the error. So again, we will sign in. Authorization is not a function. Send email verification. I forgot, it's a typo mistake. So again, let me try it. All right. Check your email. It means we received our email. Now, if I go and check my user object, okay, I can check that email verified is false. Now, if I click on this link, it may probably not work. Your email has been verified. Perfect. So now, if I refresh and check my object, email verified, now it's true. All right. So we have email verification in place. Now I will test sign in with Google. Now, if I have already an account, I can also sign in with Google. Here I can choose my account, and I'm signed in. So if I sign out and later decided to sign in with my username password, let's see what will happen. Here's my email next. Okay, nothing happened. No problemo. All right. All right. Now let me delete again my account to test if I sign in with my Gmail directly. I'll be having first, I will not receive an email. I shouldn't receive an email. Second, I will be having the email automatically validated. So if I sign in with Google account as a new user, let me refresh and let me verify that my account is really all right. So I will cancel, sign in with Google. All right. So if I check the user object, email verified automatically is true. And of course, I will not receive an email as expected, which is perfect. Here we have everything working as expected. This is it for adding authentication to your application. So, of course, once you have authenticated, here you have the user in your state for this component. Of course, you can save it in a store uh, like Redux, but at any time you can retrieve the user information for a authenticated user by using, of course, firebase.auth.current-user. Let me show you how. Constant user equal firebase.auth.current-user. This will get you the current user. That's it for signing up with Firebase UI with React. I hope you enjoyed the video and you have now and you have a general idea on how the concept work. If you like this video, please give it a thumb up and subscribe to my channel for more of this kind of video related to React and Firebase or later on we'll be putting a video concerning Gatsby and everything related to front end subject. Thank you and see you later.